I suppose one thing I would like to say, which is, this is not about high politics and constitutions and institutions, it's about human emotions. Something dreadful has happened in the past 24 hours in the streets in Kiev, and the situation is now potentially explosive. People sometimes will react with their hearts, and their hearts might tell them it's time to strike back. But the problem with violence on any side is once you escalate, once you let this genie out of a bottle, it risks to explode in ways that you cannot predict. I've seen this in my own country in Northern Ireland, decades ago, when things happened and the response was to escalate. The response was to take to the street, and for one side or another, for the security forces, or for what became a campaign of terrorism, for each side to engage in violence, which escalated and escalated. It took 3 decades for politics to reassert itself, to understand that no political issue and no rights issue will be resolved by killing and by violence. So really, really the important thing for everyone now, whether it is security forces and government on one side, or outraged, decent citizens on the other side, when they see what happened. Make your protest if you must do, but make it in peace and do not escalate. Violence begets more violence.
But if somebody wants to revenge, feeling this is a reasonable, for something.
Revenge is one of the deep human emotions and reactions. And indeed, as I've looked at Ukrainian history, revenge was a big part of history, this way and that. But revenge may give short-term satisfaction, but will leave more grieving families. We will leave more families whose members have died. We'll leave more people worse off in the end. In the end, the best thing is not revenge, but resolve. The resolve in the space of provocation, to have the dignity of even silent protest. Sometimes silence speaks very loudly. If I look at what Mahatma Ghandi did in India, it was quiet civil resistance that ground down the entire British Empire and made India free. It was determined resolution, but not revolution. And there are so many instances. Martin Luther King in the United States, who talked about having his dream, and that dream perhaps partly realized even today as there is a black president in the United States. But it was not a dream of Martin Luther King to have revolution. It was to have the resolve to act in a non-violent way. And these are the great examples of the 20th century from the Indian subcontinent and from the United States. And these must be the methods that should inspire Ukraine's response to the dreadful events of the past 24 hours.